Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and Growing Older with Enthusiasm with our host, Dr. Ron Kaiser. Dr. Kaiser, thanks for stopping by. And I'm excited about these conversations because we're really going to get to the crux of how these amazing people are helping people grow older with enthusiasm.
Great. Well, thanks for having me and putting this together, Neil. Looking forward to today's conversation.
All right. And who's our guest today, Dr.
Well,
Kaiser?
today we have Christine Smith, who is a multifaceted uh, aging enthusiast, and I think both of us kind of independently came upon the term enthusiasm and connected it with aging. I know a lot of people don't necessarily see those two terms, aging and enthusiasm, as going together, but it was so great to find a kindred spirit. And so, Christine, welcome to our show, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, this is so great. Someone else who says enthusiastic or enthusiast. I I was a classroom teacher. It's what I wanted to do since I was a little kid. And then I was a mom. And then my neighbor came home and said, I'm short-handed at work. And I said, Hey, I'm short cashed. Maybe we should get together. And she says, Come in Monday, I'll hire you. I don't even know what you do. I'm so sorry. I was just being polite. And she said, Well, I've watched you with our neighbors, and you would make a great caregiver. And that's was my first introduction to that. It was not quite 10 years ago. And I was always, no matter whether it was freelancing or I was hired by a company, I was always going into private homes. And obviously my job was to be an assistant and to, make the day better. And I loved it, but I finally realized that there were people at my shoulders who were around my age. And I started to hear some things. There was a pattern, there were commonalities, and I would scribble notes and toss it into my purple quilted caregiver bag of, I'm being confided in. I'm almost like the extra daughter-in-law they never knew they needed until now. And shouldn't people know what I know? Shouldn't I share this information? Because by the end, I had been in almost 100 different homes. So I'd had lots, thousands of interactions with people who said similar things. I'm really ready for my aging. I've really got these great plans in mind, and a whole bunch who said, I don't even know where to begin. Who's going to take care of me? How does this work? Why aren't I more like Dr. Ron Kaiser? I feel so uninformed and ill prepared. And I thought I should do something about it.
Well, that's terrific. Now, I know 100 homes is not a small number, but I know that your ideas are spread much further than that now. So tell us a little bit about where you've gone from these 100 homes to get your ideas out into the world.
Right now, I am only family, my own family, doing as much caregiving as is needed. So that has given me some time to jump into the wonderful world that I'm in now. The thought occurred to me that there should be a hub where you can find information. I didn't know there were other people who had the exact same idea because I wasn't connected with anyone on any social media. Um, I, Everything had been person to person. I would talk to my supervisor or the RN that was in charge of a group of us, get ideas, share it with one person. And I said to my husband, I need to teach a seminar. And he goes, You need to go a lot farther than that to share with people the ideas, the what to do to be more purposeful, to have a plan, to jump into the third of your life with ideas in mind and to do it on your own terms. You need to get out there. And people say that all the time. And I'm like, I had to get over a lot of hurdles, as have a lot of people in the last few years, of I don't want to be there. I don't know how to do this. So
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
yes, yes. But the more that I did, I realized there were individuals doing the same thing, sitting in front of a screen and just going, I don't know what to do, or I've got these great things I'm trying to get out to other people. I'm so excited that I've learned that there's a resource to help me in the future, as well as someone that I'm caring about. So I've tried to connect everybody any way that I could, to the point that I was shut down a few times on tagging in LinkedIn because
Hey, but
it's
you're
like
hustling. Hey, Christine, you're hustling, and that's because you want to get that message out. And what do you see as the biggest challenge in caregiving, especially because you're really looking at focusing on how caregivers can give the best care to the older population, right? Where you're not seeing that, especially the ones that are paid caregivers, right, versus the others, because they come in the biggest challenge of getting used to the family, understanding their needs and all these different things, but yet be a caregiver, but yet still have them progress, right? You don't want to see die for them to digress, right?
yeah, the biggest challenge is lack of information, just knowing, oh, I've heard of this before. I know that there's something out there. So many people feel like they have to invent it or figure it out, or they don't even know that they are caregiving. So to have information when you don't need it, when you're not there yet, to have that information, to know that it exists, to actually be, I don't know, enthusiastic about, let me find out about that before I get to that point of assisting someone else. Let me fiddle with this a little bit. So I'm trying to create, I guess, platforms where people can come in, listen to a completely unscripted conversation of people talking about, aging, what they think about it, what challenges, what they've done right, what they've done right, caregiving, assisting someone who's challenged by aging. So some of my interviews on the Aging Better Network. So those are the three words: Aging Better Network. Some of the interviews are very, very formulaic. And here's a person, and I start with, what have you done right for someone who is challenged by aging? And that may be just brand new news to someone who's going, I probably will never be in that position. Then there's the other one that's every Wednesday, and I call it Aspects of Aging. And people all ages, much earlier in life, to as far beyond as would possibly come onto the screen and start talking, to just say what has happened, or what culture is like, or I have these. If you
Yeah.
use these, this will be easier because this will probably happen. And have people go, I might not need it, but it sounds like a bunch of people out there do. So maybe I should know that these words, Aging Better Network, and all the other ones, elder care and everything else, they exist so that when I hit the computer, I'm already armed. I've got the tools. I've got my whole tool belt here. I just have to figure out exactly what to do about my situation and not feel like you truly are alone. No one else is dealing with this, because people don't run out in the streets
Well,
saying, hey, I'm a caregiver.
we've had role models that haven't exactly been what you're describing. A lot of us grew up with seeing older people as declining, and I'm so glad that you're spreading the word that it's not only not declining, but people should really start growing older earlier. They should really look at aging as something that's a real extension of a positive experience. But one of the things that I want to make sure that we don't get lost, you're mentioning these things. Where do people find you?
That's really funny because my husband said, you need business cards. You know, each time he's had to drag me by the ankle into each of this. So there's a couple of different places. Is that even showing up
Yeah, it says
there?
you see betternetwork.com. Is that correct? Yes, and all that. Yeah, you're gonna have to put that up, and we could definitely put that information in the show notes as well. But and then that's a great point. So betternetwork.com. And what is the ultimate goal? So you have the podcasts. What other resources are available there too?
Yeah. And it's aging better,
Or aging
aging better
net
network.
com. It didn't come up well on the Zoom, but yes,
Oh,
yeah. So tell me about like what other resources you have. The podcasts. What other resources do you have on the website?
great. I have a fingertip file. So these are terms, these are just words that you never knew you needed until you really need them. So you can start looking through and going, I didn't even know that was a thing. So you can look through there. One of my favorites, and it would be for anybody throughout the years, from starting to be concerned about someone to actually thinking, what is this intentionally aging? Does that mean I should act old? And boy, you say something like that, and you are going to get some information from some people saying, why would old be something that you wouldn't want to be? Because people say, oh, I want to grow old together. Or, as I continue on, I love my grandparents, my great grandparents. Why wouldn't you want to be old? So the one is called Link to Links. So I'm just being a neuron in the brain of this planet full of people who are in the aging industry, who have helps and have products and will coach you and have some services that will address something that's going on. Like, I want to continue contributing. I have some amazing things, like my friend at 96 going, I'm a businesswoman. I want to be in a think tank. And I kept thinking, where is a think tank for her? She's amazing. There's nothing that she hasn't at least heard about or touched on. She's still making differences in people's lives. So if I find a think tank, and probably Dr. Ron knows of one that is hungry for people who are 96 and are willing to grapple with problems or come up with innovations. So things like that. I'm like a neuron in the brain of all these people who are actively aging and intentionally aging, saying, go to this link and you'll find out about ways that you can contribute more as a person who is beyond the numbers that most people with little numbers on their birthday don't necessarily think of.
Well, we now have the science to know that we can keep going a good long time. I mean,
Yeah.
some genetics plays a role and stuff like that, but the fact is we will get to the day when 96 won't be considered, you know, it might be considered old, but not ancient or not decrepit or not something that doesn't involve being active in society. And so I'm really glad that you've shared our ideas, that we share together in many ways. And the way to get started in knowing you is it's agingbetternetwork.com. Is that the most obvious way to find out what you've got out there? Because I know that one website probably doesn't do you enough justice for all that you do, because I know you're very prolific, and it's great that you've
Wow.
been sharing all this stuff with us.
Mm.
Before we wrap up, number
Yeah.
one, Neil, do you have any other questions? And
I don't. I
Christine?
don't. I just want to say that this is the thing that we have to look at. I'd like to look at the population in the United States that are, let's say, 60 and older, and how
Yes.
now more and more are living longer, want to work longer, want to do things longer, want to be more active participants, even than the ones that you guys are going to help in that have caregivers or are in, older age adult communities and all these stuff that shouldn't be the end for them. Then that's what society is, and we have to get rid of that stigma. And you too are trying to stop that. So with what you're doing, so that's fantastic for sure. Back to you, Dr. Ron.
I think I've run out of questions. Is there any final thoughts that you have, Christine, and share with our audience? Because it's been so enlightening. And again, I've been so happy we've been able to bring somebody who is that enthusiastic about the aging process and the caregiving process to be able to share this with our audience.
This is great. I know we're going to talk after we're done, but I'm just wondering, do you have a plan like I do? I plan to make a culture shift, a culture course correction for our entire nation, because I have plans that I've secretly told other people, and I've gotten responses like, we're crossing your fingers. We've tried to make that shift in the way that people think about aging. Don't talk about it. It's not pleasant to, oh my goodness, we can tackle this at very early ages. So I have this plan, and I figure, you know what? I may as well use this third of my life and just dedicate it to making that change, because when other people have done the same thing at any age, if they started, someone else catches the fire and runs with it like a torch. So do you have any secret plans that you want to do to change things as well?
I don't know that it's that much of a secret. I want to just continue doing what I'm doing to impact on as many people as possible through social media, coaching programs, webinars, things of that nature. There are a couple of corrections I would make. I think when you talk about the third of your life, I'm not sure that it isn't the third quarter. I think you got to think big. And the other thing,
Ron, every birthday, I figure I still have a third left.
okay,
So when I turn
right.
63, somebody do the math. When I turn 63, I will still have a third of that left. Well, whatever. I'll choose an easier number next time.
Yeah, I was going to say when you get to one of the zero numbers, it'll probably be easier to
Exactly, or
figure
even
something
more.
that's divisible by
Yeah.
3. The only other thing that I would add is you made me think of something that
Yeah.
one of my plans is to kind of eliminate anti-aging as a term. I mean, it may be okay for wrinkle creams or stuff like that, but I mean, you can be anti lots of different things, but who would want to be anti-aging? You want to be pro-aging because the alternative is not very pleasant. So again, it's great to have a kindred spirit to present to the audience. We'll try and send a lot of people your way, and looking forward to continue to collaborate with you on our mutual efforts.
Wow, this has been like a surprise. Thank you so much. I'm glad to have had this opportunity. If someone is on LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn/in/Christine with a CH, Christine dash Smith. So Christine hyphen Smith, and you've come to the right person. So thank you so much, as well as Aging Better Network, just to see resources.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you again, Dr. Kaiser. And this again was Growing Older with Enthusiasm. Take care, guys.